Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And if you guys is another Star Wars video, well, first and foremost, Revenge of the Fifth. I know this video is coming kind of late. I'm recording it at 9, so sorry about that. I had my other test. It took a little while. We went for ice cream, yada yada yada. But I'm back. I am making the video. It is gonna show up today, and I'm gonna be answering your questions. So I posted a video on May 3rd called Ask Me Anything Star Wars Edition, and I got not as many comments as I wanted, but I did get some good ones. There's a lot of comments that are pretty substantial, so we're just going to go right down the line, just start going. So here we go. We're going to start with Alan Klasinski. You guys know him, Camaro's Not Coffee. He said, he asks, are they releasing any info about LEGO Star Wars tomorrow? Of course, he said this on May 3rd, talking about May 4th. You know, we didn't get any news. That's what I'm trying to say. We didn't get freaking nothing. Trust me. We did. If we did, I'd be screaming right now, but we didn't get anything. Also, explain for the audience why Finn is an important character in the sequels. So, in my eyes, Finn is extremely important in the sequels. Let me see if I can... There we go. Finn is extremely important in the sequels because a lot of people... I guess I should mention this. A lot of people think that Finn is sidelined, or Finn is not important, or he's very shoved to the side, you know. And really, there's a few reasons why people think that. They go, oh, J.J. Abrams set him up to fail, or the marketing was poor, Rian Johnson ruined his character, he does nothing in The Rise of Skywalker, they treated him poor because he's black, and all it. No. If you think Finn is a bad character... I can't understand that way of thinking. I can't. Now, I'm going to say something that's going to blow your freaking mind, so I want you to listen. Just because a character is not as in-depth as other characters does not mean that that said character is a bad character. And what I mean by that is that just because Finn is not as given the biggest character arc as, say, Rey or Kylo Ren, does not mean that he is a bad character. And he was not... another thing is that he wasn't shoved to the side, and he wasn't, you know, let's forget about him. You know, he wasn't, no one forgot about making him just because he was black. That has nothing to do with it. They didn't shove him to the side because they didn't know what to do. No. To put it briefly, in The Force Awakens, Finn really, he's a stormtrooper, right? FN-2187. He's a stormtrooper, and essentially he goes through his life at Starkiller Base. He gets harassed by Captain Phasma, you know, kind of intimidated by her as well. He really just starts out the movie as a stormtrooper, and then he goes, alright, I'm not going to do that. He helps Poe Dameron, because it's, quote, the right thing to do. There's a lot of great things he does there. He really does, when he finds Rey, he has a little crush on her, who wouldn't? But then, of course, you get this whole element where... you know, people go, oh, he forgot about him. It's like, no, they didn't. So another thing that really kind of makes people go, he's crazy bad, is that he screams Rey a lot. And he really doesn't. If you actually watch the sequels, he doesn't do it that much. It's maybe like 2 or 3 times. And each time he does yell Rey, it's not just because the writers are like, oh, shit, he'll say Rey. You know, when he does yell Rey, he means it. And why does he yell Rey? Well, it's because Rey looked at him the first time like no one else did. He even says it in the movie. Everyone in his life treated him like an enemy, like a First Order officer, like kind of an animal, like a droid even, you know, or a clone. And Rey was the first person to see him and go, you know what, you're a human, you're a person, you know what I mean? And yeah, Rey, you know, Finn lied, but whatever. And then basically, Force Awakens, all about Rey, that's it. He fought for the Resistance, but he only did it because he wanted to save Rey. In The Last Jedi, he gets Rose Tico on, think of kind of like the devil and the angel, right? So on Cantonica for Canto Bight. On this side, you have Rose Tico, and on this side, you got DJ. Rose Tico is telling Finn, choose to fight for the Resistance. Choose to fight for something that you believe in. Say, you know, let's not fight what we hate, let's save what we love. That's not the correct line, something like that, but it's a good line. But basically, Rose is telling Finn to pick a side and choose to fight for the good guys, because, you know, the whole journey of Canto Bight, I could frickin' talk forever, but the whole journey of Canto Bight is really learning how to choose a side and what side to take. And then, of course, DJ on the other side of his shoulder is kind of telling him, look, don't join. DJ, don't get involved, just do your own thing and be yourself. But then, of course, the audience finds out that DJ, while choosing to be himself and not join, he ends up helping the bad guys. So choosing no sides only helps the bad guys. Choosing the good side, the Rose side on this shoulder, really helps Finn to understand, look, I'm not fighting for Rey anymore. I still care about Rey, but my whole reason for fighting is not just Rey. It's to help the Resistance out and defeat the First Order. When he kills Phasma and she says, "You were always scum," he says, "Rebel scum," that is the turning point in his character arc. He finally realizes whose side he's on and what he wants to fight for. The Rise of Skywalker then takes that into effect, and a lot of people freaked out and they go, "No, Finn doesn't do anything. He just yells Rey." And I will admit that Finn doesn't have as much to do as the other two films, but that doesn't mean he's a bad character in that film. What does Finn do in The Rise of Skywalker? First of all, he yells Rey because he likes Rey. She's his friend. He also goes on adventures with, of course, Finn and Rey and all that. He does do more with the group, of course, the desert fight on Pasaana and all that. But really, it boils down to this whole movie for Finn's arc is him fighting for the Resistance. Because in The Last Jedi, he chooses to fight, and The Rise of Skywalker, he actually does fight. So The Rise of Skywalker is him putting his words into action. Is it as in-depth as Rey or Kylo Ren? No. But it doesn't need to be. You know what I mean? I just don't understand. People go, "Finn was sidelined." It makes no sense at all, and I disagree with it every time they say it. I think he's one of the best characters in Star Wars. Finn is extremely important. That's what I'm trying to say. For the arc, for the sequels, for the themes and messages, he's extremely vital. And then, Alan, you also ask, why should Disney not remove the sequels from canon? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to keep this one short. If you do want the sequels removed from canon, if you do want the prequels, anything officially right now that is canon, if you want it removed from canon, you're not a real Star Wars fan. To put it bluntly, people that want things removed from canon, not only is it just selfish and immature, it's literally telling me you're not a real fan of Star Wars. I don't love Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, but would I ever want it removed from the canon? No. Star Wars Resistance is a good show. Is it my favorite show? No, we'll get into it. But do I want it removed from canon? No way, because there's still good things about it. So, why Disney shouldn't? Quite clearly, they wouldn't, because they're made over $1 billion. Critics pretty much love them all, and a lot of fans love them. Again, quoting Lando Calrissian, there are more of us. More people love the sequels than those that hate them. You only hear about the hate because you're on the internet, and people like to shitstorm on the internet. That's how it goes. But in terms of why they shouldn't remove it from canon, it tells a great story. It pays homage to the prequels. It is a perfect continuation of the originals. The characters are great. The motivations are great. The CGI, the acting, the writing, the music, everything. Everything's great. They won't touch it. Trust me. They will not touch it. It will be canon forever, and I'm glad about that. So thank you, Alan. Buddy, you had some good stuff. Cool Cat, you ask, favorite quote from each film and rank them overall. So this one is a good question, and it took me a while. I had to write it down, because I know a lot of the quotes, but I don't want to mess it up. So we're going to start from episode 1 to 9, and then we're going to go Rogue One, Solo, and the Clone Wars. So the 12 movies. I don't know if you just wanted 9, but I did 12. So number 1, The Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon Jinn. He says, "I wish that were so." When they're having dinner. And young Anakin goes, "You can't kill a Jedi." And he goes, "I wish that were so." That's one of my favorite lines in the movie, because it's great acting, it's a great line, and it really just kind of shows the audience that you can kill a Jedi, and that a lot of them have died in the past. Of course, we'll find out. I didn't read The High Republic, but I'm assuming that's going to lead into some death. But Qui-Gon Jinn really saying, "I wish that were so," not only addresses the fact that Jedi do die, but the fact that he is sad about it. You know, he's like, "I wish that were so. You know, I wish we could live forever, Anakin." You know, it's a great line. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Anakin Skywalker. "I don't like sand. It's rough and coarse and irritating, and it gets everywhere." The line delivery is horrible. He sounds like he wants to butt plug Padme. It does not sound... If he said it, instead of saying, "I don't like sand, it's rough and coarse and irritating, it gets everywhere." I don't know why the fuck he's British, but whatever. It makes no sense. But in this actual thing, if he said it like this, if he said, "I don't like sand, it's rough and coarse and irritating, and it gets everywhere," that's better, right? Because he's playing it off more like a joke. But the line itself, "I don't like sand," like, it just gets pooped on so much. And I love the line. I freaking love it, because people take it out of context. You have Padme Amidala talking about Naboo. She loves the water. She loves swimming on the retreats as a little girl and just enjoying the world she grew up in. Anakin Skywalker retorts by saying, "I don't like sand." She loves water. He doesn't like sand. Anakin is trying to relate to her by saying to Padme, You love where you came from. I don't love where I came from. I was enslaved. My mother died, or is going to die. Watto treated me like trash. You know what I mean? I was treated like a slave kid. You know, the sand it takes everything from you, as he says in the Clone Wars movie. It's a great line. It really is. I really stand by that. It's a freaking good line. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You are my brother, Anakin. I loved you. Now, it's not the best line in the world, but it's probably one of my favorite lines in that film. Really kind of telling the audience that Obi-Wan really liked Anakin. You know, they were good friends, and he saw him as his brother. So, seeing him completely chopped all freaking arms and legs off and burning to death on Mustafar, probably not the thing he wanted to, go down. But it happened. Episode 4, New Hope. Obi-Wan, the Force will be with you. Always. It was the first one released, technically number 4, but the first one released, and it's a great line. You know, that's what kickstarted the whole franchise, really. The Force will be with you always. Great line. Episode 5, Darth Vader. One of the most misquoted lines in all of cinema. People always go, Luke, I am your father. That's not the effing quote. The quote is, no, I am your father. That's the quote. And it's a darn good quote, because a lot of people didn't realize it. Now, I do think that the quote of Rey, you're a Palpatine. You are a Palpatine. I think that wasn't the best, but whatever, I'll do it better next time for a different video. But basically, Kylo Ren telling Rey that she's a Palpatine, that was more emotional impact than no, I'm your father. I think there's more story behind the other one, but whatever. It's a good line. Return of the Jedi. Luke, I am a Jedi, like my father before me. He tosses away the lightsaber, chucks it, tosses it away. Great line, great stuff. Episode 7, The Force Awakens, Rey, classified, really, me too, big secret. It's a great line, because it shows that Rey's in denial about her parents. She really does believe that they're back. She sees her parents and people that aren't even related to her. And, first of all, people that say Rey's a Mary Sue, completely wrong. That's not even an opinion, that's just a false fact, a false opinion. Rey is one of the best developed characters in all of Star Wars, and one of the lines, classified, really, me too, big secret. It really is showing the audience that she's in denial. You know, she really thinks that they're coming back. And she really wants to belong to somewhere. So I think her kind of telling BB-8 that as she's fixing the antenna kind of shows the audience that she's kind of dependent on people. Episode 8. Last Jedi, my favorite film of all time. Luke Skywalker, the Resistance is reborn today. The war is just beginning, and I will not be the last Jedi. That's my favorite quote. The way it's shot, the way it quick cuts to different people regarding their different status in the film, perfection. 9, Kylo Ren. I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Basically, the way that he says it in The Force Awakens has meaning, and the way he says it in The Rise of Skywalker has a different meaning. The same line, different meaning, freaking perfect writing. Rogue One, Jyn Erso, trust goes both ways. Solo, Han Solo, Chewbacca, you're going to need a nickname, because I'm not saying that every time. Pretty cool. And then Clone Wars movie, one of the first lines in the whole film, Anakin Skywalker, they're back. I don't know. It's just funny, because it encapsulates Anakin's character of just, they're back, kind of moping, kind of whiny, they're back. Just kind of like, what happened, they're back already, I think that's kind of funny. So to rank them, I'm going to go this quickly because I got other questions, but we got 8, 9, 7, Solo, 6, 3, Clone Wars, Rogue One, 4, 5, 2, 1. So you can do the math on that. But that's a good question, Cool Cat. I think that no one's really asked me that before, so that was kind of cool. Another one from Cool Cat says, do you like Starkiller not being canon, or do you want to see him in Legends? So Starkiller is essentially Galen Merrick, and kind of a weird name. But he was in the Force Unleashed 1 and 2 that came out 2010 and 2011, I think. 2012. Or no, 2008 and 9 or something like that. And they were great games. I played them when I was like 12, 13, and they're fun. They're not canon, though, anymore. They are part of Legends. And I think bringing the character Starkiller from those games into canon might not work, because it probably would contradict, of course, all the haters on Twitter would, they throw a fit. But basically, I do think that bringing him into canon probably wouldn't work. I think that keeping him as Legends would be good enough, because then we got to factor in, Darth Vader had an apprentice, and this happened, and, it's just too much at this point. I don't think they're going to do it, but what they did do is that, of course, you have Starkiller, and then his real name is Galen Merrick. So what they did is they called Starkiller Base, right? And then Galen Erso, Jyn's father. So they kind of did do that. Not a lot of people pick up on that, but they did kind of do that with that character. Recon Trooper, have you ever seen my speculations videos about LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga? If you have, which was your favorite? I did see them. I watched a few of them. Pretty good. I didn't really even know you had that much content on the channel, but they were pretty good. I think that the mini-kit guides were kind of cool, and as well as kind of the characters and stuff like that. Mini-kits especially, because I'm not too thrilled into mini-kits. I normally don't go for them in LEGO games unless I'm really have a good reward. I think like getting gold bricks or like a comic panel, that's not enough for me. I need like a character or a vehicle. So my worry about the Skywalker Saga is when the fudges are coming out. But also, I do kind of want to, I hope that the mini-kits in this game will be worth collecting, you know, for YouTube or just for myself. And then another question, since they're, okay, I know you have said that the fight in Snoke's throne room is one of your favorite, and it is. So my question is, in LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, who would you like to play as in free play to fight the Praetorian Guards instead of Rey and Kylo? If I was doing that level in free play, I'd probably do maybe Snoke. I think that'd be kind of cool. I think Snoke fighting his own guards as Snoke's dead. Or maybe having like Darth Vader, or maybe, see, it's the Skywalker Saga. I was going to say Ahsoka, but I'm sure she'll be in the game. I don't know. That's a good question. Probably Snoke. I think that'd be kind of funny to kind of use him against his own guards. Or maybe Palpatine, or, I don't know, Obi-Wan Kenobi from Episode 3. Just, hello there. Just, you know, attack guys. I think that'd be kind of cool. So that's a good question. I'll find out when I play the game. Okay, we got another one from Cool Cat. What's your favorite LEGO Star Wars game? So far, out of LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga, 3, The Clone Wars, and The Force Awakens, I gotta say The Force Awakens. I think the graphics are the best, the level design is the best, the voice acting is freaking phenomenal, the character roster is amazing, the hub worlds are pretty good, and I think the levels are great. You know, I played it for YouTube. I really enjoyed the game. I think, you know, I love The Force Awakens. I think it's a great film. And, you know, playing that in LEGO form was really fun, but also being able to kind of, you know, just, like, not having to, you know, like in the Complete Saga, you had to go into a level to play as Boba Fett, you know what I mean? But in this, you just hold Y. You can select the characters, the vehicles, the red bricks. There's a lot more accessibility in that game. The hub worlds are freaking outstanding. I think they're really fun, and I can't wait to see how they evolve them in the Skywalker Saga. Should be really fun. That's a good question, yeah. I love them all. They're all great. But LEGO Star Wars: The Force Awakens, because it's the newest, it's based on The Force Awakens, which is one of my favorite Star Wars films. I gotta have to say that one. I think it's a pretty good game. So the last one we have is from Marlo Owens, and he's got a few. So first of all, number 1, rank all the Star Wars shows that you've seen from least favorite to favorite. So least favorite to favorite would probably be Resistance, Rebels, Mandalorian, Clone Wars. Bad Batch is fantastic, but I need to see more of it. Now, when I say Resistance is my least favorite, I don't mean it's a bad show. In fact, I think Resistance is a fantastic show. It's really fun. Not a kid show, it's an animated show, and it's fantastic. I think it's really, really well made. Rebels, again, great. Seeing that, of course, spoilers, seeing that into the Bad Batch is really cool. The Mandalorian, I think, is a bit overrated. It is fantastic. It's just as well made as anything else that Disney has put out. But I think a lot of people skip, oh my god, Mandalorian, we gotta, like, I know people that only watch Mandalorian, but they don't watch Clone Wars, they don't watch Rebels, and they don't watch Resistance because it's animated. It's like, you know, that's not how it works. So that would be my thing. That'd be the list. But I love them all, you know, all Star Wars is good. Assuming that you have seen the first episode of The Bad Batch, I know I have. I covered it in May 4th yesterday. What are your first impressions of the show? Do you think it'll be on the level of the Clone Wars got to be? I think that see, here's the thing. The Clone Wars is about not just the clone troopers. You know, it's about the clones and everyone else. And there's 7 seasons in a movie. There's a lot. The Bad Batch really is centered around 5 clones, give or take. You know, Crosshair's kind of out of the picture right now, but it's a whole thing. I don't think it will ever get to the level the Clone Wars is. In terms of animation and voice acting, it's already there. But in terms of the legacy that the Clone Wars has, since 2008 until 2019 or 2020, I think, when it ended, I don't think it can, honestly, because you're just centered on the Bad Batch itself, you know. And yeah, we got Kanan, we got Caleb, you know, we're gonna get other stuff in there too, Omega, but I do think that I don't think it can. It can be just as good, but I don't think it'll hold the candle to the legacy that it has. I think while I love everything about the Clone Wars and Rebels, Resistance, Mando, I think Clone Wars is the one that people resonate with most because it's the oldest one and it's the one that has the most content. Favorite Jedi of all time, the prequel Clone War era that isn't heavily focused upon Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka. That's tough, because I was going to say Ahsoka, and then I reread your comment, and I was like, crap, I can't say that. So I'd probably say, in terms of character development, there aren't many, because the prequel trilogy, the one flaw I can give it is that a lot of the characters, a lot of the Jedi are just, you see them and that's it. They're very two-dimensional. Even Mace Windu, very two-dimensional. They're not bad characters, they're just not as good as the original or sequel characters. So if I were to pick in terms of like badassness or coolness, I'd probably say Kit Fisto or Plo Koon. They're pretty dope. In terms of like the prequels, probably Mace Windu because he's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean it's a tough one. Maybe Quinlan Vos, he's kind of cool. There's a bunch of them. I think a lot of them. And probably Kit Fisto. Because when I got Lego Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars when I was a kid, and even now when I played as an adult, I always go for Kit Fisto. He's the coolest one. So I think, and plus, the old Battlefront 2 game, that game, they updated it when it came on Xbox One, and you can play as Kit Fisto, so that's kind of cool. Briefly convince us as to why the sequels really are the best. So, the thing I'm trying to talk about when I say the sequels are my favorite, if you truly love the originals, or you truly love the prequels better than the sequels, that's fine, because that's your opinion, you know what I mean? I love the prequels and I love the originals, but the sequels, in terms of why they're the best, I think they objectively are the best in terms of how they're made. The acting, the writing, the cinematography, the CGI, the editing, the music, the action, everything, the story, it's all, I think, the best, because it is the newest. But in terms of why it's really the best, I think that this is the trilogy that we got the most character arcs that were actually great. We got great shots, great framing of shots, we got great action scenes, great character moments, epic, it's the most iconic, you know what I mean? And I grew up with the prequels, but the sequels, I mean, dude, you got like Rey Skywalker, you got Luke Skywalker becoming the badass we all thought he was, we have Finn being a good character, Poe Dameron learning a lesson, Yoda coming back, Palpatine coming back, Snoke, the First Order, the Final Order, the Sith Troopers, I mean, Holdo, Rose, DJ, it's all the new droids, BB-8 and Dio. It's just the most iconic to me, and I think my favorite. But again, if you truly love the prequels, that's you. So I'm not trying to tell you that the sequels are the best ever, but I think that people who hate on the sequels, I don't think that's really justified. I think that the sequels have flaws, very, very, very little flaws, but if I were to really review each movie, I'd probably have one negative per film. Probably not The Last Jedi, but The Rise of Skywalker, there's one or two lines that are kind of iffy, but, I think people just, they hate on it too much. It's a cycle, When original trilogy came out, people, bitched about the Ewoks, and then you got the prequels. Prequels ruined my childhood, and the sequels, they ruined Luke. The Last Jedi ruined my childhood. No, it didn't. You're just being an idiot. So again, really, those are the fake fans and haters, but I do think that, honestly, if you really wanted to look at me and say, hey, why are the sequels the best? I'll look back, and I'll say, hey, they're not the best overall. To me, they are. If you love the prequels, that's fine. But that's my answer on that. I think that the sequels are the best in terms of how they're made. But you might like the prequel action, or you might like the original story. So it's all person to person. But for me, the sequels are the best for all those things. The shots, the lighting, the the CGI, the acting, the writing, the action, everything is just pretty much on point. And it's just, that's why it's my favorite. I will always love the sequels. I will always love The Last Jedi, Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, all of it. All Star Wars is good. I love it all the same. But if I really had to pick, I would say the sequels. And then if you said, finally, if you could fix or change anything in all of Star Wars, what would it be? So I was thinking about the Praetorian Guard fight, and I noticed Rey and Kylo really don't use the Force. And I don't know if there's a canon reason why they can't. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think having them rely on the lightsabers and their move set instead of just pick up a guy, freeze him, pick up a guy, chuck him, because that would be kind of boring. We actually got to see them move around and fight together. But maybe I just, have an alternate deleted scene of them kind of using the Force, like Kylo freezing a guy, and then Rey jumping and slashing him, or something like that, The fight that we got in the film is perfect, and I wouldn't change it at all, but I just wondered, I'm like, why didn't they use the Force? It's not a negative critique, just a question. And then the other one is, I know the reason why they didn't do it, but at the very end, when Rey looks to the horizon and sees Luke and Leia, Force Ghost, by the way, for all the people biatching saying Rey's a Skywalker, she people are like that retarded. They're like, oh, they stole the name. Where's the adoption papers? I'm like, dude, calm down. If you actually read the novel, Luke and Leia in canon give Rey permission to use the name Skywalker. She doesn't take it. They give her permission. Big difference there. But I think when she looks to the horizon and sees Luke and Leia, I wanted to see Ben. When Ben died and became one with the Force on Exegol, I wanted to see one more shot or hear him say something just to kind of tell the audience that he's still with Rey. Again, it's not really a negative because what we got in The Rise of Skywalker is, in my opinion, perfect and I wouldn't change it. However, if I were in charge, I would probably tell JJ or someone, hey, maybe we should give the audience one more hint that Kylo Ren is with Rey. That's really all I would change. The prequels, I would probably change a lot of the writing. I think George is a horrible script writer. He's kind of a bad director, too. I think some of the shots in the prequels are pretty poorly made. Again, I'm not hating on the prequels. I love them. But if I were to really, go into detail about them, I'd probably say I'd change a few lines and I'd change a few... Like the way... Like I said, the sand line is great, but the way Anakin says it is really creepy and kind of... like he wants to bone her. It's like, no, don't say it like that. I know you're a teenager, but Jesus Christ, stop sounding like a freaker, like a creeper. So, just simple stuff like that. Like there's a shot of Padme in episode 1, and it's a great shot, and she's kind of overlooking this balcony of the battle droids going to arrest her, and you see her dress, and there's like a wire on the ground, and you can quite clearly see the wire plugged into the goddamn outlet. So, it's lazy stuff, it's lazy stuff. It's like you could have painted over that, So I really would have, for the prequels especially, I would have looked at them in a more mature light. I think George kind of just slapped them together in certain instances. Well, CGI, that's basically what he did. And I love the prequels, but there are a lot of things I would change about them. And the originals, I wouldn't really change too much. I think maybe the Ewoks destroying the Stormtroopers is a little bit crazy because they have blasters, but they were caught by surprise, and you don't want to screw with the Ewoks. But other than that, there's not much I would change. So thank you, Cool Cat. Thank you, Marlo Owens. Thank you, Recon Trooper. And thank you, Alan Klasinski, for the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed my answers. Again, if you have any more, tell me in the comments. And who knows, maybe I'll do a part 2. Who knows? I love doing this. This was really fun. So again, tell me in the comments what you think. Happy Revenge of the 5th. Sorry this is getting so late. You might even be seeing it on the 6th. But my apologies for that. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. All Star Wars is good. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.